Today, we're going to break down one of history's most fascinating and, frankly, most effective elite forces, the Onna-musha, the women warriors of feudal Japan. But here's the thing. We're not just looking at them as historical figures. We're going to analyze them as a case study in creating a powerful, honor-based defense strategy. Okay, let's dive right in. To really get a feel for their impact, let me introduce you to Hangagaku Guzen. She was an absolute legend, a commander famous for her skill with a bow, and more importantly, for her incredible leadership. But see, she wasn't some kind of anomaly. She was really an icon of a whole system that was designed to produce some of the best warriors of the time, all of them tasked with a very specific and absolutely critical mission. And that mission, well, it answered a strategic question that every single leader, whether you're talking ancient Japan or a modern boardroom, has to face. Imagine this. Your main forces, your A-team, they're out on the offensive. And that's when the attack comes, right at your home base, your most vital asset. So who's left to defend it? Turns out, feudal Japan had a brilliant answer. Now, we need to be clear, this wasn't about a few rogue women just picking up swords. The Onna-musha were a deeply integrated part of a really sophisticated social and military machine. Their role even had a name, Naijo, which means the inner help. And it wasn't a secondary role. It was seen as a vital, deeply respected part of the clan's entire defense structure. The foundation for all of this was psychological. It was built on Bushido, the way of the warrior. Now, a lot of people think Bushido was just for male samurai, but that's not the whole story. It had a very specific code for women. It demanded heroic strength, absolute loyalty, and it framed the defense of the home not as some chore, but as a sacred, honorable duty. And how they framed that duty is absolutely critical. This quote says it all, really. A woman's role in defending the clan's core, its home, was seen as morally and honorably equal to a man's duty on the battlefield. It created this powerful parallel, an equally vital form of loyalty and self-sacrifice. And, like any elite specialist, they had specialized tools for the job. The Onna-musha's go-to weapon was the naginata, a long polearm. So why not the famous katana? Well, it's simple. The naginata is a battlefield weapon. It's perfect for defending a fixed position, like a castle gate. It lets you use reach and skill to neutralize an attacker's brute strength. The katana? That was more of a personal sidearm. This choice wasn't random at all. It was pure strategy. Their training was incredibly comprehensive. I mean, yes, of course, it included mastering weapons, archery, and riding, but it also focused heavily on mental conditioning, toughening their nerves, controlling their emotions, so they could stay calm under the most extreme pressure. And here's the kicker. They were also trained as managers. They oversaw household finances, harvests, and even the education of the children. They were total defenders of all the clan's assets, both the physical and the human. So that's the system on paper, but how did it actually perform in the real world? This is where we get to see the Onna-musha really shine in asymmetric warfare, using superior tactics, training, and psychology to defend against much larger, less focused forces. And this system proved itself time and time again, across centuries. You see examples like Hangagaku Guzen, holding a castle for 3 months, or Tsuruhime, a 16-year-old priestess, leading a successful counterattack against an entire invading fleet. Even as late as 1868, you had Nakano Tekako leading her own independent unit because the main army wouldn't accept them. This wasn't a fluke. It was a durable and highly effective system. So the crucial point to take away is this. Their primary mission was all about asset protection. They were the highly trained, deeply loyal guardians of the clan's home, its people, its resources, and its future. Literally everything depended on their ability to hold that line. And they used every tool they had, including psychological warfare. Get this, during the defense of Omori Castle, the attackers actually retreated. And part of the reason, according to this account, was because being defeated by a group of women using makeshift weapons would bring unimaginable shame. This wasn't just a physical fight, it was a battle for honor, and these defenders knew exactly how to weaponize it. Okay, so this is all fascinating history, but what are the modern implications? Let's translate this incredibly powerful historical strategy into a framework that works for today's leadership and organizations. Because the parallels are pretty striking, and they are deeply applicable. The mapping from then to now is surprisingly direct. The Onna-musha, they're your modern elite, role-specialized defenders. your cybersecurity team, your legal counsel, your crisis PR unit. The clan? That's any high-trust, mission-driven team. And the castle? Well, that represents your most protected core assets, your brand reputation, your intellectual property, your company culture itself. So how do you actually implement something like this? The honor-based defense model really rests on 5 pillars. First, you have to define your castle. What are your absolute, non-negotiable, critical assets? Second, you cultivate clan loyalty by building a high-trust, mission-driven culture. Third, you train your elite defenders in their specialized roles. Fourth, you codify your Bushido, your organization's unwavering code of honor and ethics. And finally, you embrace defense not just as a cost, but as a profound strategic advantage. From this whole analysis, we can really distill it all down to 10 timeless principles for any leader who wants to build a truly resilient, high-performing organization. Okay, number 1, loyalty is the paramount virtue of a high-trust team, and we're not talking about blind obedience here. This is about a deep, shared commitment to the mission and to each other. It's the bedrock. Number 2 flows right from that. Your core assets must be defended at all costs. You have to be crystal clear on what your castle is, and you have to be ready to defend it relentlessly. All right, next 2. Principle 3. Specialized tools are required for specialized defensive roles. Just like the Onna-musha had the naginata, your cybersecurity team needs different tools than your legal team. It's that simple. And principle 4 is about honor. Look, honor isn't some mission statement you hang on a wall. It's the sum of all the individual choices made under pressure. It's the living, breathing character of your organization. Number 5 reframes how we think about defense. Defensive excellence is a powerful strategic advantage. A great defense isn't passive. It's a secure foundation that lets you make bold, calculated offensive moves. And the 6th principle brings it back to people. Technology and processes are important, sure, but your strongest defense, your clan, is always going to be a small group of deeply loyal, highly capable people. Moving on, principle 7 is all about asymmetric tactics. Stop trying to fight your competitor on their terms. Instead, use precision, speed, and psychological leverage to beat a bigger, less focused opponent. Principle 8 is about duty. That understanding that your responsibility goes way beyond yourself, to the entire organization. That's the powerful force that turns a group of individuals into a real team. And finally, number 9, train for psychological resilience, not just technical skill. Your people have to be ready to handle extreme pressure, not just perform a task. It's about mental toughness. And the 10th principle, a huge lesson from figures like Hanga Gogozen, is that true leadership comes from responsibility, not from your rank. Real authority comes from the willingness to be accountable for the group's survival and success, no matter what your title is. So I'll leave you with this to really think about. In your world, in your company, your team, your project, what is your castle? And maybe more importantly, who are your Onna-musha? Who have you trained and trusted and empowered to defend it no matter what?